right, everyone, back by popular demand, it's Miss Lucy Baird.
Thank you, Darren. And back because we can't get rid of him, it's Darren McMahon.
That's right, you can't get rid of me. So stop sending your fancy emails and your punsy letters, because I have the dirt on the management. I ain't going nowhere.
Put your feet up and enjoy almost 2 hours worth of explosive action, loaded up and ready to fire.
Yes, the latest and the greatest from the street, the shows, and the circuits.
And of course, the ladies.
Oh, the ladies, I love the ladies. Not that I'm into that or anything.
I heard that about you, Darren.
I walked right into that one, didn't I? Anyway.
So like Darren in the men's change rooms, enjoy.
Homophobe.
He first made a name for himself in the scene with his dreamt Pulsar, and now Aaron has switched the plates to this stunning 2005 model Lexus IS 200.
I was keen to get out of the car scene and put my money into more smarter and better places. You're born with it in your blood, and yeah, this is where I've ended up today.
The freshly finished Sport Luxury Sedan is one of the classiest rides to ever grace the show circuit, and it's got the Mumbo to back it up, with 254 rear-wheel kilowatts. Not many people have modified the 1G FE 6-cylinder Lexus motor, but Aaron loves a challenge. He had his mind set on serious power through a turbo conversion, so an upgrade of the engine internals was a necessity. Aaron had the block restocked with Aries forged pistons and topped with TRD camshafts and adjustable cam gears. The head was ported before it was all sealed with a 1.5mm TRD head gasket for a more turbo-friendly 8.5:1 compression ratio. The Garrett GT30R Turbo sits on a custom exhaust manifold and runs 20 psi of boost through an Apexi AVCR. The turbo network features a hybrid front-mount chiller and G-Ready Type R blow-off valve and custom 3-inch polished plumbing. Fuel's now managed by a Haltech E11, delivered by a Walbro fuel pump, a SARD fuel reg and 700cc injectors. The exhaust is a full 3-inch system with a TRD muffler. Ensuring all that newfound grunt gets to the ground is a 6-speed Getrag box with an Exidy twin-plate clutch, machine flywheel and TRD limited slip diff. The brakes have been upgraded to IS 300 spec, and K-Max springs drop the Lexus hard over the standout 20x9 Alba alloys. The stunning finish is thanks to House of Colour Candy Apple Teal with marbleizer effect, coating a full Lagana body kit. The guards were pumped and rolled and AHD headlights added. The cockpit further reflects quality and taste with a full retrim in orange leather and peach suede. The comprehensive Bose system features amp, 6-inch splits, 7x10s and a 10-inch sub, but an in-car entertainment overhaul is next on the agenda.
The response has been good, mainly because I think the individuality of the Lexus, to see one kind of complete, with the candy and the wheels and, the trim, it's like a finished package.
Aaron bought the car brand new off the Lexus showroom floor less than 12 months ago, and despite just 7 months in the build process, has already won 9 major awards. He bought the IS for the status associated with high-end Lexus brand and can now take credit for putting Lexus on the import modifiers map in Australia. This month we've got a great subscription offer going on. In fact, it's going off. Get online at ignitiondvd.com or call us at Ignition on 02 9633 3435 and sign up for a 12-month subscription, and you could receive mad prizes from TurboSmart, Maguire's, MRT, AXS and Central Station Records. It's just $143.50 for the year and means big savings on your monthly hit of Ignition DVD. Plus, you get your copy before everyone else. When you're the Queensland account manager for a company like Pioneer, people expect you to be cruising around in something pretty special. Chris doesn't disappoint with his R34 model GTT Skyline, one of the most individual versions to roam the Sunshine State.
Hi, my name's Chris. I'm from the Gold Coast in Australia. I'm 30 years old and this is my R34 Skyline GTT.
Chris has always been into GTRs, but the rear-wheel drive version was more in his price range. He didn't start out with grand plans for the R34, but that all changed with the excessive audio system, which took 8 months to install.
I've always loved car audio. I've always loved the actual artistic look of it, the style of it, and how it all goes together, and it's something that's always intrigued me as well.
The prolific ICE fit-out begins with a Pioneer 7-inch head unit in the dash, featuring a 6CD stacker and hooked up with a vehicle dynamics processor.
Even if you did a quarter-mile run, for an example, and you took off perfectly, and you don't remember what rev you were at that time, and you wanted to check it back, you can play it back, and it'll tell you, and you can see basically when you were about to start where you were and the revs, tells you your G-force, your acceleration velocity, tells you where you shifted every time in the lights, everything like that. But basically, yeah, you can change the look of it to suit which sort of styles that you want to see on your car. I can actually dial someone from using the touchscreen on the head unit as well.
Then things get completely out of hand. There's a total of 8 amps, 4 1,000-watt mono blocks, 3 125 WRMS units and a 4-channel with a 5-farad Stinger capacitor to keep things in check. Liberating all that energy is 3 sets of Pioneer component speakers in the front, another 2 sets in the rear, and 4 12-inch subs. There's also a 17-inch LCD screen mounted on the dash, and a 17-inch LCD panel in the boot lid. What's most impressive about the system is the custom fiberglass enclosures in the doors, the top of the dash, and the entire boot cavity. The interior is a tasteful blend of vanilla leather top to bottom, with carbon Kevlar drift front buckets, Momo wheel, chrome Nismo knob, Isotta pedals and Blitz boost gauge. Chris is a musician and a former sound engineer for bands, which was partly his inspiration when designing the car. His other inspiration is surfing, hence the sea blue paint and the wave and shark airbrushing on the bonnet and floor mats.
I wanted to put a bit more personality in the paintwork and the colour and the styling of the car. The main aspect of it was to make it so it was a worthy enough car for people to come over, and then they can see what else we've done in the vehicle.
The unique exterior appeal comes through the two-tone blue and white finish, coating a full Impul body kit with custom mods to the front bar and side skirts. The massive rims are 20 by 8.5-inch Da Vincis with teen adjustable coilovers propping up the corners. Giving the Turbo RB25 some extra push is a G-ready front mount, TurboSmart Stage 3 blow-off valve and boost controller, ARC airbox and full 3-inch drift exhaust. Chris reckons Innovation Audio have put together the best in-car system he's ever heard, and that's saying a lot from an audio guru. The experts seem to agree, the GTT already claiming awards for Top Judged Install and outright honours in sound quality competition. You can now get the first 6 editions of Ignition DVD in this special collector's edition box set for just $49.95. To purchase the box set, contact Ignition on 02 9633 3435. Hit the website at ignitiondvd.com or email us at info@ignitiondvd.com.
Now it's time to check out the Maguire's MotorX show, where the import modifiers are taking on the might of the V8 muscle cars for show glory.
That's right, guys. This year, the modifying cultures met in the middle like one big happy family, and the crowd was the winner.
Yay, we all win! Woo. Yes, Maguire's put on a polished event, and Osmond's Rex cleaned up. You get it. Maguire's polished, cleaned up.
Let's cut to the clip.
This month, Ignition headed to Homebush in Sydney for the annual Maguire's MotorX show, a melting pot of modified car culture. Traditionally a hunting ground for some of Australia's finest heavy metal, this year the quality field of V8s was spiced up with an impressive array of show stars from the import modified scene. Included on the invite list in the high-tech category were Ronnie Tarave's luscious RX-7, Aaron Kumar's dreamt Lexus, the Osmonds' roofless WRX, Cyber's RX-7 and Stephen Martin's awesome S14, making its show debut. Invited under the Street Machine category were Aaron Fitzpatrick's Summernats Grand Champion and Fast Four's Penrite Car of the Year Dado 1600, and the all-new and super impressive Gemini, built by Laurie Saguni. They were joined by Barbie's CLK, the Bag and Hilux, and Ben's Toy Corolla, with the Osmonds WRX taking out best high-tech. Drift Australia was also there with a work-in-progress 300ZX, built by Exquisite Customs.
I can't believe that it's real. I can't believe that it's real.
We caught up with Owen Webb from Maguire's for an insight into the differences between the Street Machine and import modified scenes, and how knowledge and inspiration can be gleaned from the respective camps.
MotorX's involvement here is about bringing all the different cultures together. Here we are with Laurie Saguni's Gemini. A lot of billet, handmade components, a really good example of how you can put the old and new together to make look spectacular. Here's the perfect example of some old style used with late model high-tech tuner. We're actually made into a convertible. They've been doing this sort of thing in hot rodding for 50 years, and here it is, a perfect example of why this car won the Superstars Award.
We also caught up with the legendary founder of House of Colour, John Kosmosky, to get the lowdown on the world of paint.
I'm blown away by the quality and the details and the things that they're doing, and very much complimented by how many cars in the auditorium feature my products.
The Maguire's MotorX show has now cemented itself as the premier Australian event for showcasing the best machinery from alternative spectrums of the modified car world. To take a closer look at the mods of the main feature cars, check out iMods at Ignition X. Fueled by the success of the animated show Initial D, there's a cult following behind the Toyota AE86. Bo Yates was one of the first 86 drivers to find success in Australia.
Mate, I probably started drifting 2.5 years ago. I owned a DR30 before this. I saw this car in a yard at Kirrawee, so I went for a test drive, and as soon as I drove it I knew I just had to have it. Even prior to the Sprinter I had a little Datsun and we used to mess around a bit in the rain in that. So yeah, basically the street and then moved on to the track. And just through watching JDM Option and different DVDs, I just slowly started to get into it, and through Initial Drift Australia.
Bo's 86 has been through a couple of different engine combinations before settling on this turbocharged blacktop 20-valve setup. The engine's been fully rebuilt using the tough factory ZE internals, and the Snail is a custom-built unit from GCG turbochargers. Bo's engine bay would have to be one of the wildest 86 bays around, with custom fabrication everywhere. The quad throttle body setup is attached to a custom plenum, intercooler and piping made by Hypertune. The Hypertune built radiator and oil cooler are joined together as one unit, so they both receive fresh air. A Haltech E8 controls the show and helps the 86 put down 200 kilowatts at the rear wheels on a conservative 1 bar of boost. That's a lot of power for a car that weighs under 1,000 kilos.
At the start, I just had a naturally aspirated silver top 20 valve in it. Did my first couple of comps, which I had a few success, like won a drift zone comp in Queensland and a couple IDA ones here in Sydney. And then the track started to get faster and longer, and I knew I needed more power, so I actually went up to the black top 20 valve with a slightly larger power output than the silver top, and then I went turbocharged on top of that.
Being over 20 years old, the 86 doesn't have the most advanced suspension, so Bose had a huge amount of custom work done to help the handling go from good to unreal. The front now has custom-made coilovers, and TuneAgent modified the rear end to be a fully adjustable equal-length 4-link setup. There's also rose-jointed and adjustable lower control arms, caster rods and sway bars. The chassis also stiffened up with a Cusco strut brace and full roll cage.
I think it's just fine-tuning now. Like, the car's pretty good, it's just ironing out a few little things, but I feel it can't probably go much further. Maybe for the future, like a later model car is probably better for sponsors, and just depending on money and sponsorship, I guess.
With so much power, the drivetrain also needed to be upgraded. The W55 gearbox is mated to an OS Geekin super single plate clutch, and the rear differential is now a Toyota F-Series with a Tomei 2-way mechanical diff. Inside and outside, the 86 is pure drift. The interior is stripped and there's only the essentials. On the outside, the guards have been flared and there's a street-by-streeter body kit. Workmeister rims and full sponsorship graphics finish the drift look. With so much success in his car, Bo was given a sponsored drive in 2005, but in 2006 he's back at his own car. Bo's now part of the GCG Turbos-backed 2-car team. Bo's competing in the Toyo Drift Australia series and is considered one of Australia's most talented drivers.
No, I spend a lot of time on my car. I work day in, day out trying to fund it, but I spend a lot of time doing this.
With all the right skills and experience, and drift consuming his entire life, we can expect big things from Bo the Show Yates in future.
Aussie tyres have something to suit everyone and any budget. Let's take a look at some of the best sellers in the budget and intermediate tuner lineup, as well as the bling range.
For a full product rundown on the huge range of rims available from Aussie Tyres, hit the product review button in Ignition X.
You've got to respect this next young man coming up. His name is Nathan, and instead of blowing all his hard-earned wages, he's saved up for his dream WRX.
Yeah, definitely not the Rome rating type either.
No, you won't find him anywhere near a Gucci store with a boot full of handbags.
Probably a good thing since Nathan is a guy.
There's a lesson in this for all of you.
Don't have a handbag if you're a guy.
No, save all your pennies because crime doesn't pay.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, there's 2 lessons.
For Nathan, this 2005 model WRX represents personal satisfaction. He saved up his money rather than spending it, and now he's finally got something to show for it. The 19-year-old uni student bought the car brand new and spent the last year transforming it into a show-going street car. Nathan went for the WRX because he reckons it's ideal day-to-day transport, a great cruiser and a blast through winding mountain roads.
I was given a Mitsubishi Lancer by my parents early 2004. I saved up the money in between the time. I worked very hard. Got to the point where I could afford it. I traded in my Lancer and paid off the rest in cash. It's a car I've wanted since high school. I've dreamed about this car and really it's come true.
Beginning the modification process as soon as he got it, Nathan wanted to learn the ropes firsthand, so he performed most of the engine mods himself, with help from friends, trial and error style. Nathan has plans to build a bulletproof 2.5 litre block next year, but for the moment, the EJ20T runs a TD04 on 16 PSI with a turbo XS front mount and bypass valve. Fuel's managed by a Unichip, with clean air entering a K&N pod filter and soiled air exiting a 3-inch BPM GT spec stainless steel mandrel bent exhaust. Sitting between the rear seats is a generous serving of NOS in a custom mount, with the Rex now churning out just under 170 kilowatts at all fours. The relationship with the road is enhanced by BC adjustable coilovers all round and a custom front strut brace.
This is a one-of-a-kind Ings body kit, genuine Ings. Cost me a lot of money, probably $4,500 for this kit to be where it is on the car at the moment. It was completely worth it. Still haven't seen a WRX with this kit on it. The uniqueness alone is just worth its weight in gold.
Setting off the crystal grey metallic finish is a genuine Ings +1 3-piece body kit, the first of its kind in Australia. Nathan also added a few special touches, like the STI badges and rear arch covers.
People just stop in the middle of the street, have a look at it. It's very flattering and it's nice to know that the work's appreciated by a lot of people. I'm extremely happy with the car how it is. I wish to do more later on down the line. Nothing extreme, just simple, classy, elegant for my own driving pleasure.
Getting the wheel choice right is imperative when breaking the mould, and the black 19 by 8-inch Koenig Unknowns help this car stand out in a sea of WRXs. Cam motor trimming is responsible for the full white leather interior overhaul. Highlighted with Momo gear knob and handbrake cover. Even the floor's got the custom touch. In-car entertainment is provided by a 6.5-inch Pioneer DVD CD player. While the rest of his mates were out squandering their hard-earned wages, Nathan was knuckling down to chase his dream. But personal sacrifices come with great reward. Now he's the coolest kid in town thanks to this prized WRX. To see the latest updates to Project STI and Project 200, check out Tech Talk and Ignition X. Like the sport of drifting, many drivers started on the street. But as the sport grew in popularity and got taken seriously, racetracks opened their doors to drifters. One track that has helped foster the sport of drifting is Queensland Raceway. We headed out there to catch up with some of Queensland's original drifters. John Kane owns this Nissan Laurel. John's been drifting since the first competition started up and is a veteran of the Australian drift scene, having competed in many competitions in Queensland and New South Wales.
I started drifting in a standard Black 180. I did a few comps down in Sydney. These plates about 3.5 years ago with the Black 180. Hang on to them ever since because that's my nickname now. I don't get called John, I don't get called Kane, I just called Drifter.
Eugene is the owner of this Nissan 180SX. Eugene used to drive an S14 and came second in the street class at the Queensland round of the Full Lock Series in 2004 and 2005.
I always liked cars, and I had a S14, and we always just stuffed around the street. Then I went overseas to go rowing, and once I came back, it was an actual sport. I just couldn't believe it. It was just a dream come true kind of thing. I drifted the 200 for a while, and it was actually my mum's car, so thanks, Mum. I bought a S13 shell, this 180 shell, and still in the build process at the moment.
Now in 2006, he's campaigning this 180SX in the Toyota Drift Australia series. Andy drives this stripped-out Toyota Sprinter. He's owned and driven many turbo cars before jumping into this naturally aspirated Sprinter.
I started drifting about 3.5 years ago, just on the street when the police weren't quite as vigilant as they are now. And we've come to the track to have fun, and the cars have got more and more serious since.
Steve drives this Nissan Onevia. Steve started drifting when the first track day started.
Probably about 3 years ago. Basically grip racing, and a couple of guys suggested I might come along to a drift event and see how I like it. It stuck from that.
Cameron owns the panel shop Cameron's Bodyworks and drifts this Animal R32 Skyline.
Oh no, I don't really need heaps of horsepower to drift, but once you get a bit, you just want more. You know, you need a lot of car speed. They're stepping it up, everyone's stepping it up these days. I own Cameron's Bodyworks. I do a lot of imports and that for a couple of import shops and a lot of private work.
With its popularity getting bigger and bigger, there's always new talent and personalities coming into the drift scene. Along with hosting the Drift Zone Q1 series, Queensland Raceway now runs Friday night practice sessions along with a drift school to help do its part to help the sport grow. For more information, check out driftzone.com and queenslandraceway.com.au.
The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift is going off here in Australia. So we headed down to the Bass Hill Drive-In in Western Sydney to check it out.
Yeah, Team Dream organised a huge event and Sheridan took over hosting duties in my absence.
And where were you down? Off to get a pedicure?
I had extremely important business to do around the world.
I'm pretty sure Mardi Gras was months ago.
What are you saying?
Nothing, big boy. Over to Sheridan.
Big boy, she got that right.
For this month's Hotspots, we headed down to Bass Hill Drive-Ins for a viewing of the Fast and the Furious 3, Tokyo Drift.
Sheridan from last month's Model Material, and we're on location for Hotspots. I'm here with Tony from Team Dream, who helped organise the night. How's the outcome? Is it what you expected?
Bigger, much better there.
Tell me about your S14.
Pretty much we built it for street use. It's running a jet speed body kit, 19-inch rims. Puts out about 242 kilowatts at the rear treads.
Being an S14, do you like drifting?
Hell yeah, for sure.
I'm here with the guys from Team Dream. So guys, how's your night been so far?
Yeah, it's been great turnout.
Do you want my autograph?
I'm here with Ross from Freestyle Magazine. Tell me what you're doing here tonight.
Just getting all the guys down here to know about Freestyle Magazine, promoting it for the movie.
We're on the scope for hot cars and hot girls, so let's go for a wander. What's your name?
I'm Angela.
Tell us a little bit about your car.
It's got 19-inch wheels, it's got a custom paint job, custom leather and suede interior.
I don't know what you were talking about, but it's great to see a girl that does. Are you guys car girls?
Yes.
Definitely. Are you here for the hot cars or the guys inside the hot cars?
Probably a bit of both, actually.
Now we're going to go catch up with Andrew, who's going to check out some of the big horsepower cars.
Now, we don't normally check out Commodores here on Ignition, but there's been plenty of talk about this big twin-turbo V8.
There's twin Turbo 4 Garrett turbos on it, Autronic computer, Autronic CDI, multiple core packs, big front mount intercooler. Everything's sort of been designed to make about 1,000 horsepower.
In the back of your boots, there's crazies under the engine bay. Tell us a little bit more.
Twin Bosch Motorsport fuel pumps. They're rated about 700 horsepower each.
How long have you been building it for?
7 years.
I'm here with Dan, whose Corolla Seeker is currently featured in this issue of Fast Forward.
I've done everything to it: engine, interior, paint, wheels.
So what car club are you with?
Sydney Roller Club.
SRC?
SRC.
Tell us a little bit about your car.
It's a naturally aspirated 1.8 litre four-cylinder Corolla Sportivo. It's my pride and joy.
We're here with Ben and his Corolla.
Pretty much all the engine bay has been detailed, the undercarriage has got detailing, and all the stereo systems have been done as well.
Brad, tell me a little bit about your car.
It's got a B16A, forged internals, GT28R turbo.
Right, I think I might get Andrew to do this one.
B16A conversion. Tell me a little bit more about it, man. What's done internally?
Internals, it's got forged pistons, forged rods, GT28R turbo. Yeah, it runs about 14-pound boost.
Okay, we're here with Nick with this Mitsubishi Starion. Bit left field, what's going on here?
I want something good to have, but I want something different to have at the same time.
All right, man, give us a look under the hood. TD06 turbo, different plenum, bigger injectors, nice big front mount.
Nothing major, nothing spectacular, but just enough.
There's been hot cars and hot girls all night, and it's all been brought together by Team Dream. And once again, Ignition's on the big screen. Did you enjoy Fast and the Furious 3?
Oh, yeah. Brilliant movie.
Probably the best one yet.
So what kind of cars do you guys own?
180SX. Suzuki Swift Turbo.
Proton Tatra.
Holden Astra.
Tony, I
just won't ask this guy over here. What did you think of the movie?
It's bloody great.
Oh, I thought it was awesome.
My favourite part was Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel, he's so dreamy.
Then it was time to head on a cruise into the city. Ignition DVD is the ultimate advertising tool. Contact the team at Ignition about custom tailoring advertising and marketing packages to suit your business. Hit the website at ignitiondvd.com or call 02 9633 3435. When it comes to hand-me-downs from the parents, Amanda's Nissan Pulsar rates pretty highly.
I think it was pretty much predetermined from the age of 7 that I was going to get this car. I thought, not many around, I'll give it a shot and go crazy.
Amanda knows all about the personal touch, as she performed many of the mods herself, including the airbrushing. She's now making a name for herself in the industry as a respected artist, honing her skills on some well-known rides with her own unique style on the gun. The paintwork is a solid endorsement of Amanda's talents. It's a crazy concoction featuring House of Colour magenta over Ford Phantom purple airbrushing with cobalt blue and pagan gold graphics and orange pinstripe. The intercooler and 3-inch plumbing mirrors the graphics in crystal effect. Keeping in tune with the times, Amanda recently mastered the art of applying crystal effect paint. She knows her stuff.
I never thought I'd modify it actually. I then got my hand on an airbrush and the whole story changed. I've done a few cars now. I've done the Taju Up Skyline, a marbleized Calais, the Bimbo Civic, which is the snakeskin.
Heaven Sent runs a CA18 DET, packing a Garrett T28 on 13 PSI with an HKS external wastegate. The Pulsar made 181 kilowatts the fronts with a few gremlins, so 200 kilowatts is the mark next time out on the dyno.
The performance bug really bit when I'd sit there at lights and people would sit next to you and then I'd look and go, you know what? I'd love to just absolutely smash it. The engine conversion was done in my driveway with myself, B1, Alex and Wayne from PGA.
The ECU is an EMS Stinger, and a 3-inch mandrel bent exhaust takes out the trash. A 4-park Exity clutch now delivers the grunt to the ground, so the high 13-second quarter-mile PB looks set to take a beating. Heaven Sent is a pretty nimble little package too, running Buddy Club coilovers and white line strap braces and front sway bar. The brakes also got an upgrade to GTIR issue. To keep things smooth, the aerial and door locks were shaved and the front and rear guards were pumped to accommodate the 18 by 7.5-inch rollers. Amanda had the front seats rebolstered, along with the back bench, which was split for a bit of originality. Then the whole cockpit was retrimmed in lemon leather with pink snakeskin inserts. There's even a mini fridge installed in the back. Amanda gets her fix of tunes through a Pioneer head unit, hooked up to a Snyder amp and Pioneer 6 inches front and rear, backed up by 12-inch woofer power.
Plan for the car from here is more performance. Knowing me, I most probably repaint it. Maybe start from scratch and redo it, or maybe go on to something new and different.
The making of Heaven Sent has been a 2-year affair, on and off. But for Amanda, the reaction she gets from people when they find out she built it herself is the best reward. She's already collected a few trophies, and we get the feeling there's plenty more to come from Heaven Sent. Get your monthly copy of Ignition DVD from newsagents, Autobarns, JB Hi-Fi and Easy DVD. Australia's biggest sports compact event will be in full swing again this year on the 23rd and 24th of September at Willowbank Raceway in Queensland. Ignition will be there checking out the cars, the racing, the girls and all the action. For more information, check out www.jamboree.com.au. Brad's a practical guy. He didn't build his car just for shows, for cruising or for drag racing. He built it for all three. The 21-year-old IT consultant spent 2 years revitalising the 92 body Civic, and now he has a car for all occasions.
Well, I brought the Civic Standard just as a runaround, just so I could get about on my motorbike, just for rainy days and that, and this is how it's turned out.
Regular garden variety Civics make pretty easy targets off the lights, but this is no naturally aspirated shopping trolley. Brad had his mind on a turbo conversion from the day he bought the car. It was only a matter of time and money.
Well, it was a 1.3 carby. So
The double overhead cam VTEC B16A was packed with forged rods and pistons to handle the forced induction setup. The Huffer is a Garrett T28 RS with internal wastegate. It runs 14 PSI for the day-to-day duties.
I went through a bit of research to realise the B16A was probably the better motor to turbo. Got the GT28 RS turbo, decent size for a 1.6 litre.
The rest of the turbo network consists of hybrid front-mount cooler with TurboSmart supersonic blow-off valve and dual-stage boost controller. Fuel is fed by a Bosch in-tank pump and 550cc injectors and managed by an EMS Stinger ECU. Oxygen is cleansed through a K&N filter and ejected through a 2.5-inch Mandrel bent system. The gearbox was strengthened thanks to a lightened flywheel and heavy-duty clutch, and the front brakes upgraded to VTIR Integra items.
Don't kill me, man. Don't do it, man.
Rims don't get any tougher than Volt Crystals, and 17x7s is about the maximum that can be stuffed into the wheel wells. Hidden behind them is King Springs, aided by a spat sway bar up front. The Civic received a full respray in 2-pack yellow over the SD kit with JDM fog lights. Brad also had Altezza taillights fitted to the rear and the window tints removed.
My favourite thing about the Honda Civic is the shape and the style it's got.
The interior, including the VTIR seats, was coated in white and yellow and decked out with a pretty solid audio system. A Kenwood in-dash touchscreen DVD MP3 unit benefits from a 1000 watt comp amp, a 1600 watt Boss amp, Clarion 6 inches front and rear, and 2 Clarion Pro Audio 12-inch subs in separate enclosures in the boot. If Brad's objective was to build a Civic with street cred, then he certainly hit the mark. With 190 kilowatts at the front and mid-13 second quarters, this Civic has earned the title Executor.
Now, her name is Renee, and she is hot.
Yes, Darren, for the first time in my life, I'm going to have to agree with you. She is quite a hottie.
I'm sorry, what did you say? You agree with me? I knew there was a human being in there somewhere, eh? You're not all that bad. Anyway, now your peeps have been telling us that you just can't get enough of the Moto material feature every month. So we put together a nice little collector's edition of the last 6 editions of Ignition.
It's only $49.95 and it's available now from Autobahn, ECDVD and JB Hi-Fi.
Hey, I'm Renee and I'm 22 and I'm currently living in Sydney. I'm a full-time model and dancer.
Right now. I had a dream last night. Baby stood underneath the moonlight. She had long brown hair, supermodel body and skin so fair. It was a hot evening in the middle of the summer with a warm breeze blowing. Oh, she was so fine. She's telling me that a friend told her there's a party going on, and it's not that far away. 5 minutes in a car, and you know that everyone will be there. Oh, let's go and check it out. All of us sitting over at the party, boogie with my girl, and she feels so horny. DJ pumping out the music all night long. Move to the left, move to the right. Everybody boogie on a Friday night. I'm telling you now, this girl was so fun. I took her back tonight. She was telling me how she had a good time. Next thing that you know, she's kissing me, hugging me, and won't let go. Took her to my room. Stereo was pumping out my favorite tune. Oh, she was so fine. Suddenly I wake up, look around, didn't know what's going on. Had it all been a dream. The moonlight, the party, the dancing, the loving. Oh, it all felt so real. We were at the party, boogie with my girl, she feels so horny. DJ pumping out the music all night long.
Got a hot modified car you think's worthy of a feature in Ignition DVD? Know of a cranking car club or upcoming cruise? What about a hotspot? Hit the website at ignitiondvd.com and let us know.
The Drift Australia series is going off at the moment, so we head down to round 2 to check out the wild boys of sideways action.
Yeah, those crazy mofos drive like me.
The difference is they're actually meaning to drive like that, Darren.
Yeah, but where's the skill in that? Imagine being able to drive like that and not mean it. No? But I'll stick to the best one.
Maybe that'll be the best thing for all of us.
Yeah. Maybe.
We're at Queensland Raceway for round 2 of the Toyo Drift Australia and Super Drift Series.
There was a full field of 32 cars at this event after some of the drivers absent from South Australia made their debut.
Right, we're here with James Mioch from Initial Drift. How you doing so far this weekend, champ?
Oh, we've been killing it.
Danny Keneally also debuted his radical R134 Silvia Ute.
So the car's doing well today out on the track. You enjoying this track?
Yeah, the track's fine. The car's operating 110%. So yeah, hopefully we can go out there and nail it today.
Constant rain leading up to the event meant the track was covered in water. The drifters managed to dry things out somewhat, but the light drizzle and the mud surrounding the track made things quite tricky with many thrills and spills. In the end, local drifter Darren Afro Appleton in the GCG Turbo's 180SX qualified in first place, ready for Sunday. In true Queensland fashion, the weather completely reversed for the battles on Sunday, with sunny blue skies drying out the track. The Super Drift Series ran all morning and was taken out by Lyndon Reynolds from South Australia in his R32 Skyline. By lunchtime, the Drift Australia drivers were pumped and ready for the afternoon's tandem battles. The Team Drift finals followed, and there was plenty of action. In the end, Delirium took it out, making it 2 from 2 for the crew from South Australia. A spill from the car in front caused some grief for Andrew Perousas in the Drift R S15. The top 4 comprised of 3 South Australian drivers and 1 lone Queenslander. After an engine failure from Mark Phillips' Skyline, Denso took out 3rd place and left Robbie Bolger to battle it out with Leighton Fine for the top spot. It was a David and Goliath style battle, with a 1.6 litre Sprinter going up against an 800 horsepower fully built Monaro. An unexpected spin from Leighton Fine and some awesome driving from Rock and Roll Robbie saw Bolger take out his first win in Drift Australia, and he certainly celebrated with style. For dates and information, check out driftaustralia.com.au. For more action from Drift Australia Round 2, hit the events button in Ignition X. Early in 2005, Fast Fours magazine and Penrite Oils formed a collaboration to launch the annual Car of the Year competition. "12 months rolled on and Ignition DVD was invited along to Fox Studios for the crowning of the inaugural winner of this prestigious accolade. There wasn't just the $800 custom trophy on offer. Penrite stumped up with a cheque for $10,000 for the winner. Darren was there to host the evening, with plenty of industry people coming along to check it out.
Thank you anyway, darling. Ciao. Oh, two. Very Francais of me. I was just picking up your bird before. Yeah. I was relating it all to cars, obviously. There he is, the big man, Benji Marshall. I like your photo here, how you're doing the 3-finger salute.
West Side, yeah. West Tigers. I've told all my friends, messaged as many times as you can afford. Yeah, I had about 500 mates SMSing for me.
Fuck, you got more mates than I have. I don't have 500 anything. Here we're on Webb, the face of Maguire's. Would you say you're the face of Maguire's?
Well, sort of the face of Maguire's. I mean, Bruce Morrison really is the owner and the face of Maguire's, but I attend a lot of these type of events and shows.
So you're the Maguire's schmoozer?
I'm the schmoozer and the show guy.
Yes. Okay.
Let's go.
See you, boys.
Bye.
It was a fantastic example of Penrite investing money back into the flourishing industry, and Fast Fours' continued support of the scene. There were some incredible machines in the running for the title of Australia's hottest modified 4-cylinder or rotary. Fast Fours magazine chose the contenders, but it was the readers who selected the winner by SMS. The finalists were covered in the May edition of Fast Fours. It's the first time an award of this magnitude has been presented in the 4-cylinder and rotary market. And it was no big surprise the gong went to Aaron Fitzpatrick's amazing Datsun 1600, truly a worthy champion. When National Sales Manager for Penrite Gary Patey and Fast Force editor Mark Hanna handed over the check and trophy to a very stoked Aaron, it was evident that all the hard work that had gone into the Dado had been well worth it. Five years is a long time to wait for your dream car, especially when it's going to be your daily driver. But for Michael, this 1970 model Datsun 1600 was more about doing it right from the outset, rather than sticking to a tight schedule. He's actually had the car for 10 years, snapping it up for the right money while on the hunt for an RX-3. The Datsun had already received a turbo FJ motor and came with an engineer certificate, so it proved to be pretty wise buying. The immaculately presented FJ20 was balanced and now stocks forged slugs. Cooling the high-flowed ceramic-coated Garrett T3 Turbo is a modified VR4 intercooler with custom piping. Boost is set at 12 psi by a hybrid electronic boost controller. Michael didn't cut any corners, and the Motec M4 ECU is reflective of the quality approach of the Dado's rebuild. The rest of the fuel network consists of a 1.5 litre surge tank with external Bosch pump and 550cc injectors. With the help of the 3-inch mandrel bent exhaust, Toy Dat generates 181 kilowatts at the rears. When it comes to translate that power into the 12-second quarters, there's a heavy-duty clutch and lightened flywheel to withstand the load. Toy Dat was built as a true all-rounder, so Michael fitted 330mm slotted rotors with AP Racing 4-pot calipers in the nose and R31 Skyline assemblies in the rear. The suspension is the real deal too, with Lovell's heavy-duty springs and Coney shocks all round. The body is a work of art. It's been fully seam welded everywhere, including the engine bay, and dressed in new bumpers, door handles, and attention-seeking topaz yellow paint. Setting it all off is the top shelf 17 by 7-inch Oz Racing rims. Michael overhauled the caged interior with WRX front seats, retrimmed rear seats, door trims, hood lining and so on. There's a host of odometer gauges and an in-dash 7-inch TV DVD MP3 player running 6-inch speakers. You have to be pretty passionate about cars to own your own automotive workshop. Michael reckons most people don't understand that a modified car is not just a car, but it's part of your personality. It's a lifestyle. Here at Ignition, we do.
We're here today for the grand opening of Aussie Tyres in St Mary's in Sydney.
The name Aussie is synonymous with wheels and tyres in this country, and demand for the company's enormous range of rims and rubber has resulted in Aussie Tyres founder Hussein expanding the brand into a franchise operation. The original superstore in Hoxton Park, New South Wales paved the way for outlets in Canberra, Newcastle and Brisbane. The latest to join the family is the new Western Sydney store in St Mary's, so Ignition dropped in for the grand opening to check it out.
Just need to get some new wheels, so I come down to Aussie Tyres for the best. at those wheels. They're just blinging.
I can't honestly look at tyres. Come on, mate, for a cruise.
So do you come here for the tiles, the wheels, or the mag?
The whole works. The whole works.
The lads at Aussie threw on a barbecue for the crew and sized up a few new rims for potential buyers. In the absence of Darren, we called on new recruit Sheridan to get the guff from Hussein on Aussie's quest for world domination.
How's the launch going so far?
Oh, it's great. We've got a lot of people coming out, hundreds of people.
It was a massive turnout and further illustrated the loyalty of Aussie's army of followers.
So, what are you guys doing down here today?
Yeah, we're just down here to support the grand opening of Aussie Tyres.
Tell me a little bit about your ride.
Got full exhaust, airbag suspension. As you see, it's bright orange for gold pearl.
Now tell me a little bit about your plates.
Means for the mother, I'd like to,
Thank you, this is PG. So Steve, tell me a little bit about your car.
Just got the interior done not long ago. I've put an exhaust system all over the turbo, 3-inch all the way. It's been boosted up to 18 pounds.
Tell me a little bit about your fully sick car.
It's red.
So cute. She's also got matching nails to this car. Check out the nails. Sexy.
Aussie staff pride themselves on customer service, and the level of return business shows they're hitting the mark with their clientele.
It's not just about business today, but about mates getting together and soaking up the culture. So thanks for having us, Aussie Tyres.
Everyone likes free stuff, and it doesn't get any more free than this. All you have to do is jump onto the website at ignitiondvd.com and fill out the survey for a share of the $10,000 prize pool we have on offer. It's so simple, it should be illegal. Just answer a few easy questions like what you're into and what you think of Ignition DVD, and we could be sending you some very cool stuff. There's a blow-off valve and pulley kit from GFB, seat covers from AXS, a gold-class box set of Maguires, $200 vouchers from MRT, DVD and CD packs from Central Station Records, and heaps more. Most 18-year-olds missed the whole GTI cult car buzz, but Cameron has some sentiment for tradition.
Oh, don't even ask about the plates, man. They were available, and I thought, yeah, it's a sexy Swift, so we'll put some plates on it.
Mixed trades, dimes, quarters, whatever you want. Holla at your boys, yo. Hey yo, I pledge allegiance to money, drugs, guns, and eating. Scarface houses from 8 ounces. Eyes name written on the covenant ark. Hell's gates open, quiet whispers, the one and the only. I told y'all, eyes name across the walk of fame.
The GTI Swift is now 16 years old, but refuses to be relegated to old school status.
I've had the Swift for about 8 months now, and as soon as I picked it up, it was straight to the workshops to get some more mods done.
For a tiny 1.3 litre engine, even the standard Swift GTI makes respectable power. As Cameron found out, if you bolt on a decent turbo network with internals designed to handle it, 160 kilowatts at the front equates to a pretty impressive power to weight ratio.
NA was all good, but when you give it a good hit, there's nothing there, so I thought, time to put a turbo on. Time for a turbo.
Oh So Sexy runs Vitara pistons and a linished crank with a ported head and Ferrier high-performance valve springs. Cameron also went for a Comatec head gasket and a custom sump and oil pump. The IHI TD04 Snail hangs from a custom manifold and is cooled by a hybrid front mount cooler. It runs a Go Fast Bits blow-off valve and a Turbo Smart dual-stage boost control set boost at 18 psi and 10 psi depending on Cameron's mood. A drift filter and custom reverse mount plenum handle oxygen, and an EMS Stinger, Walbro fuel pump and Supra 480cc injectors handle fuel. The exhaust is a full 3-inch mandrel bent system.
Come on. Boys, yo. Hey, yo, I pledge allegiance to money, tis next love is eating. Scarface houses from 8 ounces.
The driveline received a heavy-duty clutch, machine flywheel and taller 5th gear ratio. King Springs reduced the gap to the road, and a Suzy Tech front strap brace and sway bar stiffen the chassis. A brake booster was added for extra clamping pressure, and the aggressive 17x7-inch Apache mid-dish rims fill out the wheel wells. The body was recoated in the original white and adorned with Valeside front and rear bars and 200SX side skirts. There's also Cyber eyelids, VT Commodore clear repeaters and custom rear lights. Cameron went to town on the interior with a full sandy tan leather retrim and mini bucket rear seat conversion. There's odometer gauges for boost, water temp and volts, with an air-fuel ratio gauge grafted into the driver's door. Providing the audio visuals is a touchscreen Pioneer TV DVD MP3 linking a Philips mono block amp, Pioneer 6.5-inch 3-ways, and a Vibe 10-inch sub in a custom enclosure in the boot. Cameron loves the GTI for its shape and what can be done with it, and its ability to turn heads on the street.
Most people like it. You get a few people that don't like it, but jealousy's a curse.
Him, the attraction is being able to express who he is through his car and meeting other people with the same love for cars. The project has taken 12 months, but Cameron has already reaped the rewards with the Best Suzuki Award at his first major car show. In June 2006, Mark Jacobson's R32 GTR became the most powerful proven GTR in Australia.
I've always really loved the GTRs. To get the power out of a 2.6 litre engine that these things are doing, so easily, even on the street, to make 600 horsepower, is just unbelievable.
Astonishingly, the motor retains 2.6 litres capacity and a standard crank. To handle that sort of power, there's obviously some serious internal work. Mark's major sponsor provided the CP forged pistons, and there's Crower rods, ARP studs, and ACL Race Series bearings.
I bought this car and it had a blown engine in it, which was perfect. It had the same coilover suspension in it, that's in it now. And I had a good sort of a starting point. The car is clean as you could see, and I just sort of thought, well, it's easier to spend money from a lower purchase price, say 15 grand, and start spending money from there.
RBs are prone to oil pump failures in big powered setups, so Mark has fabricated an external oil pump system with a custom 7-litre sump. The head was fully ported in-house at Mark's workshop, Godzilla Motorsport, and all the valve train is top-shelf Tomei gear. The cams have massive lift and duration, making the GTR sound very cranky. There's also a massive hypertune plenum. All the airflow upgrades are there to support the unmistakable sounding HKS 51R SPL Turbo, rated to over 1,000 horsepower. The fuel system is massive, and it's all controlled by a top-shelf Motec M600 and CDI system. Helping push Mark to 1,200 flywheel horsepower is a 100 horsepower nitrous system. Showing that the record run was no fluke, Mark ran the car up during our shoot in less than perfect weather conditions and ripped out 2 920 horsepower dyno runs back to back. Now that's consistency. But this car is certainly no dyno queen.
The best 60-footer on the Mickey Thompson street drag rails is a 1358, believe it or not. It's the fastest in Australia on street tyres. Average is high sort of 1.3s to low 1.4s every time it races.
As it's currently the sport's rear-wheel drive record holder with a 9.5 second pass on Mickey Thompson street radials. On our shoot, Mark recorded a new personal best of 9.39 seconds, and that's without nitrous. To handle this sort of power at the track, Mark has installed an NPC twin plate clutch along with a PPG straight cut dog box. The exterior remains fairly standard, with a vented carbon bonnet to help cooling and a carbon rear wing to help with the high-speed stability, as Mark hits speeds of over 250 kilometres per hour and only 400 metres. The interior is all business, with bucket seats and roll cage, along with gauges for all essential information. With 2 major records under his belt, what's left for Mark's GTR?
There is a little bit of a competition going on between me and my opposition, Theo, to try to, run the 8 after Theo ran the 907. And I'm sure that with the horsepower we're making, the power is there to run an easy 8.
With so much development and expertise, we're sure Mark has plenty left up his sleeve as he continues to build some of Australia's toughest GTRs. Long live Godzilla.
Well, that's it for another mammoth edition of Australia's only DVD for enthusiasts of the modified import car scene.
You say that like it's over, and it's far from over.
Very true, milady. There is still the award-winning Ignition X section to check out.
Has it won awards?
Well, if it hasn't, it should.
That's right. It's the home of all things hardcore, from tech and product reviews, drift action and project cars, and most importantly, it's a Darren-free environment.
Oh, it was for the 2 cents worth. They eat my 2 cents. We don't want it. Keep it. And remember, guys, if you think your ride is worthy of a feature in Ignition,
Or if you want us to rock up at your local hotspot.
or that, make sure you hit the website www.ignitiondvd.com.
And we do want to know what you think of us here at Ignition DVD, so please go onto the website and fill out our readers survey. There's $10,000 worth of prizes to be won.
10 grand.
10 grand.
Not bad.
Ciao for now.
Adios, amigo. And remember, beware of cheap imitations. There's only one Ignition. We got the latest and the greatest from the streets, the shows, and the circuits.
Not to mention the girls.
Oh yeah, the girls. Oh yeah, girls. Not that I'm into that or anything.
We can have the simulated dry routing.
No dry
Kind of
routing?
throw me off with the dry routing in public, Darren.
What is my line after that? If I say something else, just go.
I usually do, but that was ridiculous. You were humping my leg in public.
Okay, go. Let's go. All right. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah, you're bad.
It seems that Ignition is the new big thing in the modified import car scene.
Darren, you've got your lines.
I know my lines.
Gucci store with a boot full of handbags.
Well, that's probably a good thing since David's
And the bus.
Alright.
We like to go on the bus to the kindergarten.
So we were around holiday. And I asked him, Sheridan, can I ship out your car? That's lovely, sir. Excellent.
Oh, it was for the 2 cents worth, eh? Eat my 2 cents. I don't want your 2 cents. Call somebody who gives a shit.